The brain box, the spot to get you hot, motivated, educated, money generated. The brain box, place to take you higher, get you inspired, keep you lifted, show you gifted. The brain box, place to take you higher, get you inspired, keep you lifted, show you gifted. The brain box, motivated, educated, money generated. The brain box. The brain box. Hey guys, welcome to the Brain Box. I am Magi, your host of today's broadcast, and I always like to thank everybody who supports GetLiftedEntertainment.com, who supports just Get Lifted Entertainment, the platform itself, along with this whole idea that I have come up with, the Brain Box, rebranding the podcast. For those of you who are not familiar, I used to do Get Lifted Radio, Turn It Up Tuesdays, interviewing any artists and entrepreneurs worldwide. I can definitely say worldwide now. And so I decided to take a turn on the avenue that I wanted to provide for the industry, for music artists, as well as entrepreneurs as a whole. So this week I'm going to start off talking about marketing in the music industry, and then as the broadcasts are published and I carry this out, I'll definitely be talking about marketing and some other things that go along with building a brand. So today, like I said, we're going to talk about the music industry and marketing plans, and just give a few pointers on how to get started as far as developing a marketing plan, how to introduce yourself and things of that nature. So I definitely want to start off by talking about introduction, because even today when I go on Instagram and I go to artist page, it's filled with selfies, and I'm just like, if I didn't know that this individual was an artist, then I would just keep going and just kind of like bypass their Instagram, because I don't know that they're an artist. But because people reach out to me with email addresses and their social media channels, that's how I know some of the artists are artists. If I just banked on Instagram alone, because obviously that's what a lot of people are using these days, is Instagram as their website, then I would certainly be a little confused as to what exactly is one individual doing. So I think it's important, number one, that artists get back into the whole idea of getting back to the basics. And getting back to the basics is definitely making sure that you have a bio. A bio is still very much the foundation for individuals to get to know who you are. And with a bio, you can easily incorporate that on a website. And that's another thing that artists are getting away from. And I understand that Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all these different platforms, it almost makes you feel like you should eliminate having a website, when on all honesty, you should not eliminate having a website from your branding and marketing of yourself. At any given moment, Instagram can go away, Facebook could go away, TikTok could go away, all these different platforms can go away, and you want to make sure that you have some control over your audience. You want to make sure that you have some control over individuals being able to still locate and find you, because Instagram has technical issues sometimes. Facebook has technical issues sometimes. And although TikTok is a growing platform, haven't experienced many technical difficulties on that platform, but who's to say that it cannot happen? So you definitely want to make sure that you have a bio. Within that bio, it's pretty much an introduction of yourself and who you are. With bios, you definitely want to make sure that you don't overdo it and you don't hype yourself up too much, because that too can turn people off. So you kind of want to just keep things simple. Like, within the bio, you definitely want to make sure that you talk about what has inspired you to begin music. Where do you draw those inspirations from? You want to talk about different performances and things like that, but you definitely want to limit performances. You definitely want to limit name dropping. Like, I kind of get turned off myself if I get a bio and the whole first page is like, I performed at such and such and this performance and on this stage with, like, okay, we get it. You're an artist, you perform. I get that some artists may actually come across some bigger names and have features with those artists. At the end of the day, if it's not something that you've done within the past, I would say 90 days to 6 months, then number one, it lets me know that you're not updating your bio. And number two, it's kind of like you're giving yourself this sort of false sense of success on a level where, okay, you did that, but yet and still you can't sell out a show, or yet and still you can't sell out a platform within a venue in your local city. So that's where you want to be careful with overdoing it and just kind of keeping things factual to a point of the most recent performances, most recent accomplishments. You definitely want to make sure that when you talk about yourself as an artist, try not to box yourself into a genre. Today, the music industry has so many different subcategories. That's what I call them. I call them subcategories within a specific genre, that you definitely want to make sure, just kind of like, I'm a recording artist. I get the fact that you want people to maybe title you as a hip-hop artist or something of that nature, but again, because there's so many different subcategories, you may decide that hip-hop is not something that you want to be categorized in 4 years from now or 3 years from now. And the first couple years of branding, this is what you brand yourself as. And so now when you try to switch it up, people are going to question that, and people are going to think that you don't have a sense of direction for yourself. So you want to be careful with boxing yourself into a specific genre. And when you are writing your bio, just kind of mention different artists that you have drawn your inspiration from, as far as, if you want to be considered a hip hop artist, then, you could talk about those within the hip hop industry that you, as far as where you drawn your inspiration from in your music. People will put those pieces together and be like, okay, well, he must be hip hop, or she must be hip hop, or he or she must be pop, or he or she must be R&B, and things of that nature. So be careful about boxing yourself in. You also want to make sure that you're not hyping yourself up to the point where you're using self-opinionated quotes. If you haven't received quotes or testimonials from other individuals, try to limit yourself from self-gratification. It can come off as being a little too cocky. It can come off, like I said, as overselling yourself and overselling your skills. So you want to be careful when you're doing that. Some other things that you want to incorporate in your bio is, just kind of express yourself as a person. Your music is going to speak for itself. So therefore, you want to make sure that you bring out the personal side of who you are. Bring out the personal side of who you are within the bio, and don't talk about the music so much. You could definitely talk about what started you in the music career. You could talk about the things that you've learned throughout your journey and the accomplishments that you have made so far with the things that you've learned and applied. And so, like I said, that's just a quick touch on bios and introduction of yourself and who you are and how you should incorporate certain information within your bio. The next thing I want to talk about is getting to know your audience. In today's music industry, because there are not so many record labels that's actually seeking out artists these days, and you really have to kind of build up your own brand and show record labels or sponsors or investors that you can earn $1, you can sell out a show, you can sell merchandise, you can get people to listen to your music, you can sell out a platform and things of that nature. In order to do that, you really have to get to know your audience. If you get to know your audience and you're able to cater to your audience, that is what helps you stand out. That is what helps you become successful as an artist within the music industry today. Some of the points that you should be jotting down and keeping track of in some sort of database when it comes to getting to know your audience is, what's their age, what location did they come from, gender. You also want to incorporate a database that's keeping knowledge of where do these individuals hang out, what other events may they attend, where do they shop. Sometimes depending on where people shop, you may be able to go to those same retail locations and get some promotion going with your music within those locations. You just never know until you figure it all out, put it together, come up with a proposal or some sort of plan where you can address or reach out to these different platforms or retail spaces, and you never know what'll come of it. And when you figure out the age range, the genders, the locations that your audience is hanging out at, it helps you come up with a strategy plan, a distribution plan, as far as how, when, and where you're going to release your music. And it also lets you know what your audience likes. If you understand your audience, there may be a certain topic that's very popular within your audience. Like today, it's mental health, it's depression, suicide, this whole epidemic with pills and things of that nature. If you're an artist that loves to spread positivity and you want to address those issues, that would be easy for you to capitalize on that, because that's your audience. That's what they are going through. That's what they want to talk about. That's what they want to hear. And you just never know how many people within that demographic of individuals you've come to learn about can get inspiration from you. And one thing I can say about music is we all love our trap. We all love to turn up. We all love that. But we're all still individuals that have a side to us that need those uplifting moments and points. So I think it's very important to incorporate that type of music within your catalog as an artist. So just keep that in mind. Another thing that is helpful to knowing your audience is, like I said, it helps you understand when do they like to hear music, when are they looking for new music. It'll help you know when to release music. You don't have to stay within this compass of release music on Monday for Music Monday, or release music on Wednesday, or whatever. You have to do what's best for you, and in order to understand what is best for you and how and when you should release your music is getting to know your audience. Once you get to know your audience as well, it helps you be able to understand where should you go and perform. One of my pointers that I like to give to individuals that's first starting out is you should get yourself a map, and you should look 5 hours from where you are. If you're in Atlanta, Georgia, 5 hours from Atlanta, Georgia, east, west, south, north, and figure out, okay, those cities I can go there, these cities I can go here, these cities I can go here, these cities I can go here. And so when you draw that 5 hour compass around your local area, it helps you be able to get out and say, hey, this weekend we're going to get up, we're going to go to such and such city, we're going to pass out CDs, we're going to get flyers, we're going to get posters posted up and things of that. And so what that does is it helps spread that word of mouth. It puts that into effect within these different areas. Somebody come out, you go to a city overnight, you and a couple of your homies or you and a couple of friends, and you guys plaster that area with flyers, posters, anything that you could leave behind as far as branding yourself and what your social media platforms are or your current release and things of that. People are going to be looking at that like, who is such and such? Did you see that? And that's what helps spread that word of mouth effect. And word of mouth marketing is some of the best marketing still to this day. Like, I understand social media has taken away from the whole guerrilla marketing idea of things, getting out there, hitting a platform or hitting that pavement, shaking hands, talking to people. People still laugh at the fact of being advised on handing out CDs. You'll be surprised, like, handing out CDs still works. You just got to know where to put out certain media and where you shouldn't. And once you figure that out, again, that's learning your audience and learning your demographics. Whenever you're able to seamlessly understand the lifestyle of your audience, that's a big bonus, because it's almost like, you can make your whole audience feel like, wow, such and such really knows me. It gives them that sort of individualized feeling of importance. And to me, that's huge when you're trying to become an artist so successful that, at any given moment, you could sell out a venue in their city. At any given moment, you drop a song, it's going to reach a certain amount of streaming numbers and radio play and DJ play and things of that nature. So you have to get out there and learn who these people are, where they're at, where they hang out. And again, learning where to travel. You have to travel. Like, I know individuals feel like, oh, just being in your city and being popular in your city is what's going to get you on. But that's only a small portion of it. Just think about it. If you can go elsewhere and plaster yourself, get a good marketing street team out there, and people get to know you elsewhere, 9 times out of 10, when people start listening to you in other cities, that's what's going to make people in your city listen more. So you just want to use like that compound effect. As far as once you learn your audience and developing that fan base, there's a couple, I'm going to say more than a couple, but there's several things that you can do as far as developing your fan base. And one of my biggest pointers in regards to developing your fan base is an email list. And the easiest way to build an email list is to have a website with an email list sign up. Again, website. Gotta have a website. There's so many artists that have gotten away from websites. It's actually hurting you more than you think. People don't really click on links in Instagram bios. People don't really click on links in Twitter posts. They don't really click on links on Facebook posts. But if you have a website and this is where you redirect people constantly, then again, you're getting to know your audience. They're also getting to know you. They know that, you know what, I can go to suchandsuch.com and find out his latest release. I can go to suchandsuch.com and listen to his latest song or watch his video. Even with direct buying, direct buy is very big. Like, I don't understand why artists just rely on the streaming platforms as far as individuals being able to retain their listeners when people will still buy music. Like, streaming is just that. It's just streaming. But people still want to purchase music and have music for their own keepsake. At any given moment, the streaming platforms can go away. But if you set up an e-commerce section on your site where people can go and directly buy your single for 99 cents, if it's an EP or an album, you price it at whatever you want to price it at. And once they really get to enjoy who you are as a person and your music, trust and believe they will buy from you. Along with that, then you can set up merchandise on your website as well. So again, a website is a great platform to build your email list. The email list can be utilized on platforms such as MailChimp and things of that nature, where you could put together a newsletter, let people know what's happening with you, keep them up to date, send out exclusives. People that are on your email list, maybe they get to get a copy of your single before it's released, a day before it's released on the digital streaming platforms. You know, special contests and giveaways. In order to get a free shirt, you have to be signed up for my email list. I'll be sending out an email blast, and the first whatever person to respond to the email will get a free t-shirt. You know, something like that. Running contests actually works, and it helps develop that fan base as well. Another way to develop fan base is you can do surveys and contests online. I see that a lot of people are doing challenges for their songs and giving away money, you know, for the best challenge for a song. That is a great way to build up your fan base. Like, who doesn't want to win money? And I'm not saying that this works for everybody, and you do have to get to a certain point because you got to have the money to pay. But running contests is a great way to build up your fan base. Another way to build up your fan base is when you're at performances, have somebody with a sign-up sheet or book or something at the door, or walking around in the audience asking people, you know, what's your email list? Do you mind if we add you to the email list? Blah, 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 blah. That stuff actually works. It works better than just posting an Instagram post. It works better than just posting a Facebook post. Especially nowadays, like, Instagram posts and Facebook posts, like, they have like a minute shelf life. Like, after a minute, I saw it, okay, what's next? Like, you have to find ways to stay in the mind of the people, and generating a newsletter twice a month, once a month. If you have those releases that are coming out, you let people know ahead of time, hey, on such and such date, I got this coming out, this is where you could check it out, blah, 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 blah. And people will remember that. The more you do it, the more they'll remember you, the more they'll respect you, the more they will look into what you have going on. And now you've turned them into a super fan. No matter what you put out, they're gonna listen to it. No matter what you sell, they're gonna buy it, just because they see the work ethic that you have and the work that you're putting in. Be personable with people. You know, it doesn't hurt as an artist to go to other people's platforms and speak, say hello, I see what you're doing with your business, you know, happy birthday to your child. Be personable with the audience. The more you're personable with them, the more they respect you, the more they actually feel like you're not only do you want them to pay attention to you, but you're also paying attention to them. You have to give in order to get. And I feel like people are so focused on having more likes, having more followers and things like that. Like, you get to a certain number of followers, you don't even speak no more because you think you just that, I don't know, like that big. It's just a number. Like, what happens if Instagram goes away? They're going to be like, oh, I don't even know who that person is anymore because they never even spoke to me, or they never even paid attention to what I had going on, or whatever the case may be. So, like I said, make sure you're giving as well as you want to receive. Let me see here. The last thing I want to touch on is media strategy. And when I talk about media strategy, it's how you've prepared yourself to disperse your music and let people know that you have a single out, a video out, or coming up, an event that you're going to be performing at, so you're going to be selling tickets, things of that nature. Again, that email list is a very key way to let people know that you have a music video release today, tomorrow, whatever, a song release today, tomorrow, whenever. Having a press release already typed up to send to blogs and websites, even DJs. Like, why not send a DJ a press release? Like, yeah, they may only play your song, but if they know the meaning behind a song or what was the inspiration behind a song, then that may actually help them make a decision on whether or not they want to play your song at their set that night in the club or whatever city they may be traveling to. Also, you can have USBs already set and going for the DJs. Hand them a USB. Hey, here's my music, USB. You don't have to worry about CD, none of that, because nowadays most computers don't even have a CD player for DJs to play the music. So that's a great way to have your music already ready, labeled properly on a USB drive. You can also do, again, those promotional challenges, the best video for my current release. Again, send them some merchandise. Give them discounted merchandise. Anything that you can think of that will generate some sort of emotion from your audience. You want to be able to ignite emotions from people. If you excite people and they feel happy about what it is that they're going to get or what you got going on, they're more interested in what you have going on. Podcast interviews, radio, reaching out to DJs, all these are different avenues and areas of media strategy distribution. And again, that 5 hour radius around your local city. Stretch yourself 5 hours. 5 hours is nothing to drive. Like, if you could drive 5 hours there, do what you need to do, maybe even stay in a hotel for that night, come back, boom, you're right back home. It's not like you're going to be gone away from home for a whole weekend or anything like that. You could do those things overnight. You could do them before the weekend, but make sure you're at least giving yourself opportunity to spread your wings. Making sure that, if you're 2 hours away from a city and you know that they have clubs and things like that popping, you keep on showing your materials and your face there, boom, eventually you have a performance there. When you drop that new single or that new video, you're going to see the analytics from people in those cities. You're going to be able to go to venues there and perform that performance, link up with the DJs and things like that. Last but not least, streaming platforms. You can get your music on the streaming platforms, obviously, through DistroKid, TuneCore, songcastmusic.com. That's obviously another way that people are getting their music out there when it comes to your media strategy. So these are all things that you could definitely research more online. You can put together a great team of individuals who will gather information for you and coach you along the way. You can reach out to people for consultations. One of the things that I wanted to touch on is when you seek information from individuals, be respectful and be mindful that they too took time into making sure they were able to answer your questions, making sure that they were able to guide you in a direction that you need. making sure that you have things aligned the way that they should be in order for you to grow and monetize your brand. So if you're an individual that's too busy, if you're an individual that's lazy and you just don't want to do it, then respectfully you should be prepared to pay for knowledge. And that's an investment. I mean, obviously, yes, it's costing you money, but you didn't want to take the time yourself to gather this information, and you're relying on other people to do that. Those other people also took time out of their life to make sure that they were able to provide. It's no different than somebody who needs to seek a degree because it's a requirement for a job. Like, they're going to go to a college, they're going to pay. They got to pay because the professors that are teaching them that knowledge got to be paid. If you go to a conference, conferences are not free. Like, if you go to South by Southwest and these different conferences for the educational side of things versus just going there to be in the crowd and perform, like, those conferences cost money. They cost money because the people that are providing the information have to be compensated. So keep that in mind and just be respectful of that when you're DMing people and sending them emails and just asking 50 questions. Like, you're being selfish. You're trying to get as much information as you can from an individual without having to invest anything. And honestly, you're not being fair to yourself and you're not being fair to them because it doesn't make you look good. Other than that, that's pretty much all I had to touch on today. Once again, I thank you for joining me here on the Brain Box. I look forward to sharing the knowledge that I have. If you have any questions in regards to some general information, you can go to getliftederentertainment.com. Make sure you fill out that contact information, leave your email so I can add you to my email list. And then I will definitely get back to you as soon as I can or when I can. And until then, I wish you the best on your journey. I wish you all luck. And I'll catch you back here next time.